Kia ora. This is my bonsai nursery. That wasn't an ad for New World. This is my new nursery, set up with watering system, everything like that. I have a cutting unit, looking a bit ill-defined right now. Seedlings, these are the cuttings I have produced this year. For Kenti and Totara and various other bits and pieces, krokias and stuff, kowhais. New Zealanders really like their native trees. Unfortunately, our native trees are not that good for bonsai, but I will persist. I'm working with this kowhai and some really nice totaras. This is a kakatea. I thought maybe we could grow this as a less formal, kind of more like a weeping kind of creature. We'll see how that goes. I've been playing with bonsai for, well, growing them, experimenting with them for a long time, since I was about 15. 40 years, holy shit. A few years ago I started putting down lines of things, so I had a lot of fun creating these tridents on all these cool rocks which I've been collecting over the years. Right now they're all squished up in a pile because I'm trying to put in this new bench, which will bring everything up to eye level. Right now, to see anything I have to basically get down on my hands and knees or lie down on the ground or pick it up like this to check it out. Pretty cool trees here. Some stuff like the totara and the nika palms and the gristolinias, that's for the farm. I'm doing a big planting project out there as well. Got something like 25,000 trees in. But I'm putting down lines of Atlantic cedars, the blue one, tridents, lots of Japanese maples. These are all my seedlings, this year's seedlings. And these are some of my older trees. Just losing their leaves, looking pretty funky. So it's all going well. But I have to figure out how to make money out of it. How to make money out of bonsai in New Zealand with a population of, like 4 million people. This is kind of trending upwards. The world's kind of going to shit, so maybe people will stay home and tend to things in the future, rather than going to the Maldives to, I don't know, look at nice fresh water. Maybe they can stay home and freshen up our water. This is my photo booth, where I take nice photos, like these ones, of nice trees that you can buy. This is my dog, Obi. Say hello, boy. Yeah, complete muppet. What else? Oh, rocks. I love my rocks. I collect rocks for all sorts of reasons. Check out this one, isn't that cool? It's going to be so nice with a tree on it. Bits of cast, bits of granite. Beautiful stuff. Look at this one. Isn't that cool? Let's dug those out of the ground. I also have a bunch of trees in the ground. So I live in a community, we have a big farm, and I have actually got access to plenty of ground if I want it. And I think that going forward, a lot of stuff's going to go in the ground because look how fast they grow. That's like 1 year's growth. I've still got a whole tree growing on there, nice small little branches. Not only did it grow this one big branch, but it grew like metre long shoots over the whole tree twice, and I chopped them all off, and it is now beginning of winter and they are still growing really vigorously. I put some Japanese black pines in the ground, which I've been growing in pots for about 8 years, slowly, and I put them in the ground and they do this. Now this is a sacrificial branch, obviously. It's going to come off there. In the meantime, it's going to fatten this trunk up. So all these plants are growing on tiles. Now all these trees had multiple of these growing on them, and I chopped them all off because it was just going to be too coarse, and left just a few where it felt appropriate to have a sacrificial branch on them. I'll let them go for a little while and we'll get some nice big gnarly chunks out of them. As I may have already mentioned, Kiwis love their native plants. Kiwis, New Zealanders, people from Aotearoa. This is a blue totara, and it's a lovely soft foliage, dense back buds like crazy, beautiful plant. And I am going to probably turn these into like mother trees, a lot of them anyway, and put basically make them into a stool bed, which means I'm going to shoot up all these big long extensions. Probably put some nice movement in them because they're still nice and bendy. And they're already like more than pencil thickness, some of them. These are Kowhai, like a jumbling cross-street type Kowhai. They're all different, full from seed. At the moment I'm just kind of jumbling them up and letting them grow for a bit. And we'll see if we can transplant them later on. Not sure if they will or not, we'll see. But I have some other Kowhai going anyway. So the tridents that are inside, I know that tridents aren't that popular because, I don't know, maybe they're too common or something. They're really easy, they're very fast, they're very cool, and they grow so well over rocks. Anyway, the ones inside are probably like a trunk like that after 3 years. And these ones, that one's not so fat. But some of them, this is the trouble of going outside, you can't see what you're doing. Some of them are already like that big, which is really nice. That's a quick intro to what I'm doing here. I actually have another nursery, my old nursery, which I'll show you up here. That was a pretty little tree. It's always the way. They look terrible in a pot and you're like, oh, I'll just chuck it out in the ground, and it looks awesome. Now this nursery is looking a bit abandoned. Well, not really, just a bit neglected. Partly because I've got a much better new one. And someone hooked up the side of the thing with a mower and ripped it off. And the pukekos got in there and started roosting on my bonsais. Don't you love the lichens? This is my old nursery. It's in the process of being cleared out, but I still have lots of really beautiful trees in boxes. This is the one the pukekos were roosting on. Trident forest. It's just 2 seasons. Fuchsia. Rosemaries, and these cotoneaster, aren't they gorgeous? Look at those, they're just popping. Kowhais. Some of these tridents are like 35 years old, but they were originally growing on for the first 15 years of their life, they were growing on a slab of rock, and there's a little forest. So they didn't grow very fast, and I had to regrow them, and as a result, they've got some pretty weird bases and things on them. But this one's looking pretty nice. This one's also not too bad, eh? By contrast, this one here is 3 years old. Some nice little black beech trees. Here's a funky trident. There's a little forest of azaleas. Rosemaries. This is actually an apricot. Here's a really nice little trident. It's only a 3-year-old, maybe a 4-year-old. Totally locked into this very cool rock which is sitting there. I might dig that out soon. Bunch of, what are they, dragon's gold. It's actually a separate species, I can't remember. It comes from, I don't know, one of our islands. Little Kakatea forest. I think these will be like 3-year-old trees now. Kowhai. This is more of a weeping Kowhai. My idea was to make it grow up more like you might grow a weeping willow or something like that. So you've got like a gnarly trunk with some nice weeping foliage or interesting hexagonal growth form foliage hanging off the end. There's a couple of those. There's the other one here. I think that'd be pretty cool. Some Japanese black pines. They're like 8-9 years old. Little junipers. Junipers are interesting. Take a long time, eh? But you can get some interesting shapes and forms out of them eventually. Oaks, natives, I don't know, other stuff. Yeah, a lot of our natives are pretty hard. This one I'm slowly getting somewhere with. It's a marble leaf, a native New Zealand plant. Most of our natives have a jumbling kind of habit like this, where they just form this dense mat because they evolve in the presence of a giant bird called a moa, which was grazing on their little leaves. So the leaves, I'll show you again, are hidden away under the twigs. So the moa actually ended up eating little bits of twig and leaf and things like that, and it probably hedged the plants. So they would have been looking quite spectacular, probably like natural bonsais. It's all stuff for the farm, giant bamboos. These things, I don't know if they'll ever densen up to be like a nice looking, dense, junipery kind of bonsai, so cypress anyway, but they're such a beautiful colour and they just have such a lovely form. So I'm actually growing a whole lot of those from seedlings to have a go with. I'll start them off really nice and gnarly and get some cool shapes and forms. Japanese larch. So I have a bunch of plantings, like I have 25,000 trees out in the ground which I'm looking after, and every now and again I see one, I go, oh, that's a nice looking one bonsai, so I dig it up again, bring it back here. Anyway, it all needs a weed and a clear out and a clean and a water blast, and probably turning over to just farm production trees in here. Here's part of our farm. These are cows, some of our cows, or calves way over there. Gardens, chickens, forests. There's a new forest behind those gum trees there. That's where I've been digging up some of my trees to bring back home as bonsai. We'll head over there at some point. As you can see, it's a work in progress and I have very little in the way of resources to put into it, basically whatever's lying around, and no money to put into it. My biggest expense is potting mix and time. But I also enjoy doing it. It's not my main job. Most of the time I'm out doing things like fencing and clearing up debris after floods and forestry stuff, chainsawing up trees that have fallen down over fences and all that sort of thing that you do on a farm. Except the animals. I don't do the animal stuff. My brother does the animal stuff and his team, which they're doing really well. This series is about, well, bonsai obviously, but more particularly it's going to be about setting up a nursery with no money, no resources, just time and passion and energy and fun and quite a lot of knowledge. I've been doing it for a long time. So we'll be featuring different species that I'm growing and why I'm doing different things to them at different times, and like when I put them on the ground or put them into a pot, or when I might pretty them up and put them in a decent bonsai pot and offer them for sale even. Like, that's a novel thing. I noticed a lot of my subscribers to date have actually been from the States, so, you know, the land of the orange clown, adding so much ridiculousness to a ridiculous world. Good on you, Donald. Yeah, let's make this fun, let's make this ridiculous. See you soon.